Hello! Video Game Hunter here and welcome to my review. So, a new Tony Hawk game is coming out pretty soon. But unlike the previous ones we've gotten recently, like Riders or Proving Ground, this one will be a true sequel to the Pro Skater series, which we haven't gotten one since 2002. So, for this special occasion, I'm going to review the first game I bought from this series with my hard-earned money when I was little. And no, it's not going to be from the home console release like the PlayStation or N64. Nope, the game I'm going to review today is Tony Hawk Pro Skater on the Game Boy Color. So, no further ado, let's take a look.
So I don't think I really need to mention this, but this game is a massive downgrade compared to the console release, like the PlayStation and Nintendo 64. Which is one of the main reasons why I really never got into the handhelds, until the PSP came out, where it finally felt like I was playing a console instead of a watered down game. Well, that said, let's talk about the concept of this game. There are 3 different types of games to select from. You got Half Pipe, where I spent most of my time when I was little on, and then you got One-on-One Versus and Tournament Mode. One-on-One Versus and Tournament Mode are pretty much the same, except One-on-One Versus is more focused on racing against an AI or a friend if you have an extra game, Game Boy, and a link cable, and see who can get to the finish line first. While the tournament mode is not just focusing on racing, but who can score the most points by the end of the race. Let's start with the half pipe mode first, then we can talk about the tournament part a little bit later. Now, one thing that I gotta say about this game is that they actually have all the main pro skaters, and I'm not counting the hidden characters from the home console version, which is kind of impressive since some of the console games that also get ported to the handhelds are usually missing some characters, like Mortal Kombat or Killer Instinct. But when you get to the gameplay part, all the characters looks pretty much the same. The only real difference is that they just swap out the color schemes with each character, which means even the female skater, Alyssa Steamer, looks like a dude. Once you select your character, now you need to select what level you want to skate on. But I don't think it really matters which level you choose, because they all feel pretty much the same except for the scenery. The controls in gameplay are pretty good, and they're easy to figure out. But they could have been tweaked a little bit more, since sometimes I couldn't get my character to do a trick when I'm clearly hitting the A and B button down. I did thought maybe it's because I'm using the Retron 5 to play this game, but I also get the same response on my Game Boy Advance.
One last thing I want to mention about this half pipe mode is that doing tricks on here is a lot easier compared to other 2D skating games I played. I can't do shit on Skate and Die's half pipe because of its controllers. Oh look, I somehow did a board slide.
Alright, so moving on to tournament mode. Just like the half pipe mode, all the pro skaters again are here and each having their own stats. Which, by the way, I actually forgot to mention that they also have their own stats in half pipe mode. Psst. If you're going to play half pipe mode, pick Tony Hawk. He is obviously the most OP character out of everyone in that mode. Only because he is the main star in this game, and he was the only one who can land a 900 when this game came out. Anyway, unlike the scale of stats in half-pipe mode, everyone's stats is pretty fair, but you will feel some differences with each character. Now, I already know that I mentioned about this earlier, but tournament mode is not just about who can get to the finish line first, but who can rack up the most points by the end of the race. You can be placed dead last and still come out in second. Now, I'm not saying finishing in first is pointless, but you can still get points depending on what place you finish in. There are a couple of ways to earn points. You can earn points just by jumping off of ramps and press random directions on the D-pad and then press A, which will cut you a quick picture showing you doing a trick. Now, before I go any further, I will say that I do in fact hate this part of the game, because this is literally delaying me from enjoying this game. I mean, sure, I could just easily just get this picture without any problems, but I shouldn't have to. A quick animation of my character doing a trick would have been way better. And another thing, why does only Tony Hawk and Alyssa Steamer shows pictures of them doing a trick, while everyone else has some random guy which we have no clue who this person is, or he's even supposed to be based on anyone? Man, talking about some laziness. Anyway, back to talking about tricks. I recommend you doing bigger tricks like tail grab or method air by pressing down up A or right down A, since they give you more points than a regular grab move. And repeating the same move will not decrease your points, unlike half-pipe mode. One last thing I like to mention about these air tricks is that you can't mess up performing these tricks, so don't worry about crashing whatsoever. Another way to earn points, and these ones I consider the most important, because mastering these skills will not only help you win races, but also earn you a lot of points if done right, and that is grinding and jumping on certain objects. To grind, all you really need to do is jump on the rails, and no other button is really necessary. Unless you want to add an extra grind move, then just press these buttons, and as long as you don't overdo it, because the third grind move and so on the same rail will not count unless you jump off and jump back on. Throughout each level in tournament mode, there are 2 icons you can collect that can help you earn extra points and get a speed boost. The speed boost icon I feel like is a must-have, especially when you crash, because once you do, it takes a while to gain your speed up again. Now what's great is that in the beginning of each level, you do start out with 5 speed boosts, and I tend to use my first 2 or 3 right away when the race starts. Now the other icon you can collect are these VHS tapes, which gives you 3 points for each tape you collect. And I have to say, when I do play this game, I don't really focus on collecting these, because I can get more points just by grinding and doing some air moves. The only time I ever really go after these is when they're close by and I know they're not going to interrupt my next trick or my next jump I need to make.
So, do I recommend this game? If you asked me that when I was 11 years old, or I just spent like $30 on this game, I would probably say no. But now, you're pretty much getting your money's worth, since this game is not going for that much on eBay, and the half-pipe mode is pretty much the best part about this game. Even though the controllers may not be that responsive once in a while, but I still say this game is way better than Skate and Die's half-pipe mode on Nintendo. However, the tournament and versus mode I never really care for, since you can go through the whole thing in less than 11 minutes, while I can spend like a good hour playing the half-pipe mode, where I'm always pushing myself to beat my high score. Well, that's it for today. This is the Video Game Hunter, and until next time, goodbye.
Thank you for watching my video. Please give it a like and subscribe for more videos. You can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and DeviantArt. If you have some free time on your hands, please check out the console explosion and other features on the site. Well, again, until next time, goodbye.